I'm here now to give you guys a rough summary of things and give you guys a little bit of view of what my channel is going to have on it. What's going to tell its treehouse constituents, uh, THC. So I'm a cannabis farmer, studied horticulture and botany in 5th grade. I had finished the Encyclopedia Britannica series and did a book report on a king cobra in 5th grade, and I scored so high, like they read it and it wasn't even like about scoring. They were like, oh my god, like his mom did this. So they contacted my mom and she swore up and down she didn't help me, which she didn't. And they tested me in a room for like almost 4 hours, like 3.5, almost 4 hours. And 3 guys came out. There was 2 dudes and a woman, and I dealt with the woman while the 2 guys kind of sat in the background and observed. And they asked me questions and had me solve puzzles and had me remember things. And then, I mean, keep in mind, I was really young, but they wanted to move me from 5th grade to 9th grade. They wanted me to complete the second half of 8th grade, second semester of 8th grade, to get used to the class change. I had an IQ of 168, and we chose to say no. I did school normally, and I actually ended up being suspended or expelled for all of 8th grade, and they still put me in 9th grade. I think it was because of that shit back in 5th grade, but I medicate. I'm nervous right now. I got a lot going on. This all started in Michigan, where I was born and raised. My position right now, I had an incident happen at home, and I had to go help a friend up in the UP, and he's from out west, and we handled the stuff in the UP. Went west, did our thing, and now I'm coming home. I don't have no way home. All I have is a motorcycle, so I'm trying to make a deal with my motorcycle, because I can't take my dog on my motorcycle, and I refuse to abandon him. So we're going to be traveling across the country, either on foot, or we might be able to trade it for a car. It's a 2017 Kawasaki Z900. I hit a deer at like 65 mile an hour and it kept rolling. So I didn't stop fucking my plastics up though. But anyway, oh, these are all tinted so you guys can't even see my eyes, huh? Sorry guys. I like to connect with you, look you in the eyes. But, so, now that you guys kind of got a little bit of a grasp of what's going on right now, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of backstory. So, back in 2011, I caught a charge, actually 2, aggravated assaults with a weapon. There was a 17-year-old girl who was being harassed by these 2 guys, and we got involved, me and her brother. The guys ended up running me over with their vehicle, to which my close friend of mine ended up opening fire on their vehicle with his legitimately legal firearm, and we went to prison for aggravated assault as the 2 males harassing the young 17-year-old, where the young 17-year-old female played victim and came in and made all kinds of different statements, blah blah blah. They rejected my plea agreement. Oh yeah, that's my tattoo machine. Don't want that. Sorry guys. They rejected my plea agreement. They offered me 2 2-4s as my co-defendant went in and said that he took full responsibility for everything, said I didn't know anything about what was going on, and that I didn't have a gun. It was all him trying to help me out, and then they rejected my plea agreement. And instead of 2 2-4s concurrent, I got a 2-4 and a 3-5 consecutive and served almost 7 years. While I was away, a lot of people I knew died. When I got to the halfway house in 16, I discovered that 19 people had died, and then they sent me back. The halfway house sent me back because nobody would hire me for my tattoos, and they had me all messed up on medications. So I ended up going back to prison, and they gave me street parole. I was out for 79 days. I got kidnapped and went to the mental hospital to try and get right. They let me go. It's pretty straight up, you know, I'm a cool, legit dude. And afterwards, I was a little messed up about it, you know, but I went to the mental hospital, and the nurse was like, you know what happened? I said, I was kidnapped, you know, and I'm not right. I want to get right on my meds from my doctor, and I want to then go see my parole officer and get that straightened out. And she's like, what? You know, you were kidnapped? Did you tell the police? Hi, Whiskey Mains. Hey, Whiskey Boy. She's like, did you tell the police? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, no. I didn't tell the police. Like, what the fuck would I tell the police? Like, let me go. It's done and over with. I'm not trying to cause problems. And then she let that go, and she got me a double, like a cheeseburger with bacon and fries and a cookie and some milk. And I was eating. I smashed that all off, dude. I was waiting. I was almost on, like I was almost to the cookie, and I was like excited, you know. Sorry guys, it's hot. I got cotton mouth. Grab water. Be right back. I don't remember where I was. Anyway. So I'm almost on the oatmeal cookie, and 3 officers walk into the nurse's office where they had me, and one sits across from me and 2 stand behind me shoulder to shoulder, and they start questioning me. So tell me about this kidnapping, as the nurse walks in. And I said, I wasn't kidnapped. I don't know what you're talking about. The fucking nurse was like, that's not what you told me. You told me. I said, I told you I didn't involve the police for a reason, and you had no right calling them. So they started questioning me, and I wouldn't talk to them. I told them, I don't want to talk to you. I want a lawyer. And I said, you know what? The only thing I will tell you is I know who kidnapped me. I know where they took me. I know why it happened. I know everything. And I'm not telling you shit. Go fuck off. You know, and then they said, you're high on drugs. I beat that charge. After 6 months of sitting in county, after they took me to the hospital, tested me, I still sat in county for 6 months before I went back to see the parole board. And they paroled me again. They're like, street parole. I said, fuck you. I'm not doing street parole. You're out of your mind. Every time I get out, you guys screw me over and send me back for no reason. I'm good, man. I'll finish my number out. So I sat for the remainder of my time. And when I got out, I learned even more people had died. I don't remember the exact number. The number today is 50. Close family members, loved ones. I would do tattoos for everybody, but as you can see, I'd have no space. That's been really tragic. It's like Final Destination, you know, your whole class dies on an airplane. I grew up outside Detroit and spent a lot of my teen years in Detroit proper, running the streets, doing dumb shit, doing drugs. But to give you guys an idea of what this channel is going to have in my story, about 4 years ago when I got out, the second day I got out, I started meditating in prison. Okay, so when I got out, I continued the meditations, and I started having these encounters where I would feel these weights in the bed. It almost felt like a cat being really sneaky in the bed with me. And sorry guys, I've crushed my hand way too many times. I don't know if you can see it. Like, it's a 1/4 inch shorter. Like, if I line it all up proper, like thumbs are lined up and everything, like this hand is a 1/4 inch shorter because it's been crushed like too many times. It had like 4 surgeries. It was infected last summer, and they were talking about amputating it. Car got impounded by my friend who stole it while I was in the hospital. I had 2 dogs. Oh, the dog, Hanky, I need to introduce him. So that's Hanky Doo. He is my best friend, and so much more than a dog. So I had like the finality, like this, the spectacular. It was it was ridiculous the way this all happened. I get out, a bunch of friends die. I'm a pot farmer, you know. I got a bunch of money. I'm doing good. Got a new car. Got a new motorcycle, you know. And then I got the news: Spencer died. And my dog. So Spencer's a brother to me. His mom is today my mother. Spencer's mom is my mom, 100%. I love her. I'm going to live with her and help her. She's in her 70s, and she's going to help me too. We kind of both need each other. This has been really hard, and not a day goes by where I don't cry. So I'll be crying on here. You'll see me cry. I got a lot of emotional going on, but I'm trying to make the best of it, you know. So Spencer's my brother, plain and simple. They say blood is thicker than water. People don't understand that's not the saying. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Okay, meaning when you swear a blood oath, or the oath you give to your covenant, your brotherhood is deeper and thicker than the water of your familial wound, from the maternity, the just whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So it's not, oh, blood is thicker than waters and family's thicker than strangers. It's the complete opposite. They'd have you believe, you know, but it's the complete opposite. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The water of the womb is obviously, you get it. You aren't stupid people. Anyway, so Spencer's my brother, and Steven, he was my brother too. The three of us, and Nick, Lucas, they're all dead. They're all dead. They've all passed. All since I've been out of prison in the past 4 years. So I got out June 9th, 2018 in Wyoming. I got released from the mental health pod in Wyoming Medium Correctional Institution, Torrington, Wyoming. I had a friend who picked me up, and then me and his best friend drove back to Michigan, and yeah, I'll get into all that. That's a whole story from the day we got back. Since we left. Camel is a trip. 55 years old, and little man. He's cool. He's a good man. He's a good friend. He drove me all the way from Wyoming to Michigan, and we slept in a tent. And, I went home to see my son. He's 18 years old now. So Spencer's my brother. And he had a dog, Tibble, and he was dating a woman named Natalie, and they traveled the country on foot from Michigan all the way out west, where I'm at in Oregon, and all the way south to Slab City, and they truly traveled the country, riding trains, doing all sorts of stuff, you know. Well, Steven at the time, this was way a decade ago, you know, it was a while ago. Steven at the time is living in Colorado, in Denver area, Aurora, with his mom and such. So Spencer and Natalie and Tibble ended up meeting at Steven's, and because of some things, there's no animosity, no judgment. But Natalie stayed with Steven and Tibble, and Spencer went home. I'll leave it at that. And so in the end, Steven and Natalie ended up having Tibble back in Michigan, and when Steven, and later on, well, Tibble, so Steven and Spencer both owned Tibble, and even after that, like, we're all friends, we're brothers, you know, we fight and we do our thing, and we all meet back together. That's what family does. So we all met back together, like nothing ever happened. Like, I didn't even know any of this for a minute. Like, it was never a thing. And Tibble, Spencer and Steven's dog, had puppies with Natalie's dog, Lucy, a female bull mastiff, and Tibble was like a little pit bull thing, and that was Enkidu. So it was the only litter Tibble ever had, and now that both of my brothers are dead, Enki's kind of like so much more than a dog, you know, being the puppy of their dog, and kind of like everything I have, you know. He's my best friend. We're partners. I'm not his owner, I'm not his master. He is my best friend. We're equals. I learn from him every day. Sorry. Shit's been really rough. 50 people is a lot of people. And every day since then has just been downhill. But I'm trying to go back uphill. You know what I mean? So, trying to go back uphill, keep a positive attitude, and since Spencer and Tibble traveled the country, it's only fitting that me and Nikki travel the country. I do get heat stroke easily, But yeah, I'm gonna cut this off here. I feel like it's been too long and I didn't share enough. But I'll give you. I was kidnapped, and I'll get into all that story. I'll get into the stories of me as a kid, and flooding people's houses, and I mean, everything but the Burt Merkle stuff on my channel is true stories. Like, I pooped on the floor at Wendy's. That happened. I threw dog shit all over my neighbor's house because he was crazy. I shot him with the pellet gun, and so much more. We did play Ouija board. Like, I did so much more stuff. Oh, it's crazy, dude. My child is crazy. And any of my friends that are subscribed to this channel can truly attest to the craziness of my childhood. It's just sad though, because a lot of them, I'm like down 50 subs right now, because every one of them here would have been subscribed to my channel to tell you, because these are all childhood and family members. But like I said, I'll cut this off here in about 2 minutes. So at 4 years old, I almost killed my mom in her sleep. I don't remember really much of it. She filled me in. I lived in Florida. My grandma used to move me back and forth and back and forth. She was really a nice woman. Benny Hinn, televangelist, I know personally. We were very close with. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, very spiritual, but not religious. But, I gotta tell you that. So, anyway, yeah. So back then, things were crazy. My brother got cancer when he was 3 years old, 3 times. He had leukemia, and then he went into remission, got testicular, then relapsed with the leukemia. He's 30 years old, he made it, and that's a whole story in itself. And every day along the way, like my whole life is story after story after story, and it's truly, like I've been told every day when I just spout off a few stories, and people are like, dude, you should write a book. Half the stuff I'm told is I'm a liar on. It's false. I have no reason to lie about any of this. I'm not looking for notoriety or fame. I just want to share my story. It's a truly great one. It's full of tears and laughs and loves and excitement. I've done some shit, man. I've lived a life. I had a Vietnam War vet, Steven's dad, tell me he doesn't know how I've done it. Like, he said, I don't know how I've gotten by. He said he's been to Vietnam. Not like he was in the war during Vietnam. He was in the Vietnam War, but not in Vietnam. He was in Germany. It's something I'm not really too sure. I don't want to speak on something I'm not familiar with all the way. But he was in the war at the time, and he said, I've been to war, and I haven't seen as much death as you kids see these days. Especially, in this circle. I don't know how you cope and how you deal with it. And right here. That dog. Tattoos. Instead of cutting. I'd much rather get a tattoo. It's never a cutter. I was a drug addict on the streets of Detroit for fucking years, decade. Been sober for a decade. Had a relapse last year when my hand inflamed. I was on fentanyl. I started using fentanyl for like 45 days. And I woke up one morning and was like, done. Quit cold turkey. That same morning, Enkidu and his little brother, they were best friends. They ran away. I'm gonna leave that right there. That's gold. Okay. They ran away. Oh, I need a tissue. That's gross though. Alright. There's not a snot booger on my lap. So. I gotta stop. I don't remember where I was. And such. So, 4 years when I got out of prison, second day out, I had some incidences where I would have these feelings in bed. I would there. Surrogates. You know what I'm saying? It's that belly thing. I'm almost done anyway. So when I got out, I started feeling, I was living with my friend Don in Wyoming in Rock Spring, and I started feeling what felt like cats in the bed, and it happens every night still. So I ended up being there like a month, 45 days, and then me and Camel packed up. I'm like way up here. I don't know if you guys can see me. Me and Camel went to Michigan, and it continued. I ended up waking up in the middle of the night and having a face-to-face with one of these entities. And I'm like laying in bed, I'm like and I feel like I wake up to being tucked in, and I'm coming to, opening my eyes, and I see this figure. My room was right outside of, like, a street light was right in front of my trailer house. The windows, it was shining in, so it lit up my room. Plus, I had a grow tent at the foot of my bed that just spewed light out sometimes, because I had it on like 4, like 18 or 21 and 4, or 20 and 4. And anyway, I had light in my room sometimes when it was light and dark, so my room lit up. And I'm laying like this, and I see this shadow, this outline. My eyes are blurry, and I come to focus, and I focus on it, and it's looking away. It's tucking me in, and it's looking away from me. And as soon as I, like, recognition in my mind was like, excuse me, that's what you're looking at. I'm like, oh, okay, holy fuck, and we locked eyes. It looks at me, boom, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And it looks at me, and it's like, so it's tucking me in, and it's like, I'm looking at it like this, right? And it turns and looks at me. And we lock eyes, dude. And there are little black things like this, and it looks at me, and it goes, no expression, nothing like that. It just looks at me, and I screamed like a little bitch. And it died right in my throat. I threw my shoulder out, trying to throw my blanket over my face and, like, roll over, and I heard some voices in my head at the time, and people tell you I was crazy. But, doctors and whatever, but we all know. Some of us have had worse experiences. But to be honest, they have done no harm to me. They have helped me grow mentally, spiritually. I am able to meditate again. But I'll get to all that. I ended up putting up cameras in my room after that. I bought a DVR system. I put cameras up in my room, and I didn't review them for a while. I just let them roll. And one day I started reviewing them, and I would focus on my bed, and focus on the bed, me, because that's where I was having these things. These things would jump in the bed with me, and you could feel them. Like if I sat down and put my legs out in front of me and, like, remained in a meditative still state, to where your body's like numb. I've taken all the, and like I'm meditating still, and I got my toe level with a dresser, and I'm watching, like, I feel it bump the bed, boom, and then it boom steps up into it. You can feel it, or that's what I'm perceiving, and I watch my toe just drop below. First I thought, like, it's my dead friends, like, oh, that's cool, maybe it's a guy. This one pushed really hard in the bed, and he was fat, but turns out, after actually zooming in and focusing on the camera, a lot of the video I have is CCTV footage, actually zooming in and focusing on the window, during reviewing the footage, I was able to see these entities, and I've been comfortable. Now, to be honest, it's almost lonely without them. Like, if I lay down and go to sleep and I don't sense them, it's almost lonely. My dog senses them too, but he's not put off by it. You know what I mean? So last year, after Steven died, I kind of had a mental breakdown, and I was about to farm this land for cannabis, and I had it set up for a couple workers up there to manage things, and I would make trips back and forth, and I had a house in Detroit, and ended up breaking my hand, and getting a bunch of my stuff stolen, and I had a Lincoln MKX that vanished. My system, I had like $5,000 on a system too total. Like, I had Salt 6, Sundown Audio Salt 6, and like 3 X12s, with all the bells and whistles except the lithium battery. I was waiting on that. My amp got fried. I never had to even hear it. I lived in a pop-up camper. I lived in a tent for a while, but one of the times I was in there, my hand broke when I was in the hospital. One of the times when I was in there was a storm, and my dogs got out of the kennel. I asked somebody to go get them because there was a storm, so I said, you grab them, and he said, they're not here. Well, they ended up escaping the kennel and breaking into the tent, or my tent, tearing a hole in it. So they were safe, and they had my stuff. So they were comfortable, with the anxiety, having my blankets and everything. But so that went my tent. So I slept in the Lincoln for a while, the three of us, me and Inky and his little brother. Then Sorry if I don't look at the camera very much, guys. This is kind of new to me. And I'm not going to edit too much of this because I want it to be real. That's what this is about. You guys are going to share this with me. You're going to share my journey. You're going to share my story. If I edit things, it's for time. Because I'm not here. I walked away or something. You guys are going to get as much of what's real is real. You know what I mean? I'm not going to edit this for emotion or nothing. If I cry, it's real. Trust me. But, so we lived in the camper. We lived in the car, and then I had a friend reach out and say, listen, brother, got a camper for you. Wasn't in the greatest shape. One of the walls was molded and rotted out, the wood was, so I put a blanket up and stapled the blanket, the comforter, to the dilapidated wood that was all rotted, so it barely stayed. And anyway, the raccoons came every night, because I had 2 dogs. You know, I got dogs, I got dog food out there, dog treats, I got my own food. You know, I kept it all in totes, but they were smart. You know, I had a bag of potatoes hanging from the center rafter of the shed, and the top of it was torn open, and potatoes would come out. And I actually found them stealing my food and eating it off in the bush. I have video, I'll show you where they're at in the area, and they wove stuff and shit, whatnot. But ended up, the raccoons came every night, you know what I mean? But then eventually, they stopped coming. I started seeing some weird stuff, and I was able to record a bunch of it with my phone. But I lost all of it when one of my 62. So I was in the camper, and I'll get into that story all last summer. And I'll get into that story because it's long, but it's in depth. And I'll tell you guys the stuff that I found and the stuff I recorded. A lot of it I don't have evidence of anymore. A lot of it I do. It's kind of like 30%. I didn't have much storage space. I had one micro SD card. It was 62 or 64 gigabytes. Sorry, and I compressed all the files and then used the extra space to store more, and compressed and compressed and compressed, because when you're doing something like this, when you stop recording, you record as much as you can. You know what I mean? So I did, and then I went to Facebook, and started doing Facebook Live. I should have been doing YouTube Live, but I didn't think of it. So I started doing Facebook Live, and then I got locked out of that Facebook account. My Google got filled up, blah blah blah. It's all a story for a different time, but I got an interesting story to share. I had a lot of Bigfoot experience. I lived side by side with them. The first one I saw was a baby, and I studied them scientifically all last summer, recording everything I could. I was able to salvage some stuff on the move out up north and then out west to get things taken care of. Now I'm headed back, but I did manage to salvage quite a bit, and I did manage to get into my old Facebook account to an extent to where I could get the public stuff. A lot of stuff I kept private. I was afraid to post it because of how I mean, come on now. But anyway, the first DVR I had, it disappeared. I had it in my backpack with like a quarter pound of weed, and my Cartier my Cartier glasses case, my tattoo ink, bunch of stuff. Paperwork, and the DVR was in there, and I had set it on top of the car. Went inside, rolled a blunt. Me and Shai drove to the store for a little bit of booze for him and some cigarettes, so I could take him back to the grow and dip off. And I forgot the backpack was on the car. We were gone like 5 minutes, and it vanished. So the only thing of value in there to me was that fucking DVR. I didn't care who had it today. If whoever has that ever sees this video in Jettle, Michigan, there was a black backpack, Orca tactical bag. There was a black DVR, weed, Cartier sunglass case. You'll know what it is. If you found it, you know what I'm talking about. Bunch of weed in there, good shit, lava rocks. So if you found it, please give me the DVR back. It's locked up, you threw it away, I understand. But I just want the DVR. I doubt you'll ever see this or anyone will ever. Anyway, so I lost the first DVR and bought another one. I recently put cameras back up and found out they are still visiting. The angles and everything I have are terrible. So I gotta readjust, but I'm about to be making this trek, so everything's basically just coming down and going back in the tote this camera's sitting on. So this is where I end it. Please stay tuned, share, subscribe, it helps me out. I'm broke right now, kind of down and out. Things fell apart. I had over $20,000 in the bank. I had a business, my own LLC, cannabis consulting firm called Holistically Sticky Consulting. I worked for a charity as the marketing manager for the entire country, just under the director of marketing. And yeah, that went through when the Rona hit. Fucking shut us all down. I lost everything. So I'm down and out right now. So if y'all could like and subscribe, whatever quick things, pew 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 pew. This channel promises, I promise to grow and add more stuff. I'm working on it. Bear with me. I'm going through some really intense stuff right now where, I mean, obviously I'm about to walk from Oregon to Michigan, you know, with my dog. So I don't have a Patreon or anything. I'm not asking for help. Just if you want to, subscribe and follow my journey. That's all. Bless you guys. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for those of you who have watched this through into the end. Life throws us curveballs, man. It deals you a deck of cards. Sometimes all you get is curveballs. You don't get a slow pitch or a fastball, and sometimes all you get is fucking shit. So we all just gotta play the cards we're dealt. You got no one to hold them and no one to fold them. Blah blah blah, blase splee. I got a lot to share. I got a lot of information to share. I got a lot of shocking footage, videos, scary shit. So, I also got a lot of love, heartwarming stuff, sad, exciting, like I said. So, stay tuned, guys. I'll be putting out more. And I hope this camera did okay. It's a 4K, but it's one of the cheap ones for Amazon. So, wish me luck, guys. I gotta get the battery for the remote.